Ovšem, a vítám vás u třetí epizody Horizonu Forbidden West, kdy musíme teď najít erenda, aby jsme se mohli zúčastnit setkání velvyslanců a získat to, co potřebujeme. Zajímalo by mě, když si otevřeme to, když si otevřeme možnost craftění právě věcí. Baroubr. Ferka taky, jo? A pytle. A tak je ze číku. Vostíku. Nahoda. Pěkný hůd z leverky. Žebro východní bestie. Takže to musí spíš jako žebro zvířete z východu. Tak. Jo, ale zajde pak to oček. Máme defoval. To mě zajímalo, jestli máme defrom Diegoldy. Nemáme, což je super. Máme se nehýbat pořádně. Děkuji, kolego. Zatím mě fakt zajímalo, kdy dostaneme zapískání, protože to bylo jako hodně důležitý. Já to nechám prostě takže by to bylo moc OP, takže to odstranili. A nebyl jsme vyčistili tohleto ložení. Rollerů, vezmeme zásoby nějaký. No tady to je. Zvířat to nevidím. Tak, si bereme nebeský keř. Politika slunce lízalů. OK. To určitě vypsal Eren, protože ten by se nezdržoval psaním. Počkej, když to je tudy takhle. Neznáme, jo? Ty vole, tady je zase něco nahoře. Zkusíme na to dát vyšplhat, to uvidím. Ale jako ta krajina je pěkná. Taková divně rozpraskaná, ale zároveň takový uvěřitelný. Další rozpadlá, hele. Nazdar. Ailey. Přesně jsou tak ten meky. A jo, tam je další barva, super. Pojď Aileyko nahoru. Kouká. Super. Tak vezmeme tady loot.
This place has seen better days.
Signální věž zase, jo? Ok. Objeveno zablokovaná cesta. Zajímavý. Počkej. Takže... To je střelka, shortcut ahead, jak by se řeklo Dark Souls. To jsem vyhodil, kdybych spadl dolů. Ojoj. Léče je bobula a kovové kosty. Tak plný odeslánou schránky. Dobré vědět. Se mi líbí, jak prostě tady jsou najednou vystrčený ty nabarvený šutry, který ukazují, že mám to. Že jsem si dal damage, ale poškolit. To stojí snad.
I don't think I can get past them. Guess I should leave it for now.
Ale tady je něco. Velká schránka s cenostmi, super. Pustit se na říň.
Useful for making dyes.
A tam je další barva. Opět, takže se budeme moct míchat barvičku, to je zajímavý. Funkční květ, tak to bude tmavá. Je černá. Ailey. Zelená, to bude asi často naše barvička. Viděli, já tam mám ruce, co lezet nahoru, ale co už leze dolů. Tak, výborně. Lezeme někam nahoru. Chybí potřebný nástroj. No, můžeme jít vlastně i tudy, ale to můžeme jít tudy. Musíme se zkoušet na činčtu. A už tady svítí vedlejšáky. Můžeme si pěkně nautujeme všechno možný, co tady je. Už se tu rozsvítil vedlejší úkol.
Outlander approaching. Is that the savior? Wanna come in, savior?
Dořve Ailey do háje. Ailey je teď nadšená, že jí říkají spasitelka. Zařeme tudy. Spíš kouknout, jestli tady není něco zajímavého.
Freeze that machine. It's a dead machine. Bristlebacks must have got these Osram. I hope Aaron and any other Vanguard are okay.
No, ale něco z toho lutnout. Takové se mi líbí, jak je to tady vždycky takové, to dostane takové vyhodníčky rohový. Si pomůžeme. házím. To jsem měl na nějaký hovado. To by pomůžel hodně blbě. Vyplýval skoro všechny pohodlnosti hajky, co jsem měl, no. OK. A to protože jsem nebyl dostatečně opatrný. Našel jsem si toho třetího, jsem si říkal, tak to dostanu toho jednoho. Jezero se vždycky hodí toho. Jo, když si zapomněme vlastní váček. Jo, tady je něco jiného, nebo je jenom tyhle ty. Tak ale vezmeme tady ty vodní. Takže to je jo. A to jako samozřejmě potřebujeme. Mám většinou fakt vypnout ty. Ano, na to teď mě dvešky tady polají. Ne, asi tady funguje i proud. OK, tak to je pěkný. Protože to si nepamatuju, tak většinou ve hrách proud má vliv 0,0.
Gates must be shut because of the bristlebags. I should look for another entrance.
Outlander approaching. Is that the savior? Wanna come in, savior?
Suspicious.
Welcome to Chainscrape, savior.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
To mi stačí. To mi stačí, dobrý, puste jí.
By the forge.
Peťo!
Petra? Aloy, what are you doing here?
Tak ty tam půjčíš to pro.
About time there was something worth looking at in this dump.
It's nice to see you too.
And not a moment too soon. Come on. Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place.
Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage.
Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chainscrape's always been a few tools short of a kit. And right there is the biggest tool of all.
Our land, not our problem. The bristlebacks are everybody's problem.
Roland?
You've heard of him,
Yeah.
but he's a story best told over a cold beer.
Petra. I'm just passing through. I'm headed west.
Oh,
There's an embassy at Barren Light I need to make happen, and then I keep moving.
ah, of course. Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flamehair, good to see you. You've got to move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
Samozřejmě, že tebe s Peťou na pivo. OK, tak sotva se někam lezli, už to
Well,
mám.
this Sullivan guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
Best I can do is let you use that workbench there.
Ignoring me again?
Takže vylepšení zbraní. Třaskavý prach. OK. První vylepšení. Druhý vylepšení. A nakonec třetí. OK. Nice. Co luk? To je nám skoro žádný dráty, jo? Kyselé nový šípy. Atributy, ale chybí mi 2 dráty a ulita z Baruera, OK. Ne. Zlepšení zbroje, OK. Dobrý, tak tohle si dáme. Můžeme vylepšit ještě jednou. Paro z Fanghorna, OK, tak budeme to lovit Fanghorny. Vyrábění pastí, to ani nepotřebuju. Vylepšení vaků, oh yeah. Veverka, mýval, divočák, veverka, divočák. Takže máme víc bombiček. Takže tohle si dělá uponku. To je škoda, že si to člověk už nemůže vyrobit. Takže veverčí kost, kůže divočáka, mývala a veverku. A tady supí pírko, ty vole, budeme střílet supy. Takže ukaž. Sívku tady nemůžeme dát, ale žádnou nemáme, ne?
This should be useful. Now I just need to find Aaron and help him clear the bristlebacks.
Never fear, my lady. You have found me.
Tohle je má schránka, OK. Jo, OK. No je zajímavý. Armorer nemůže pracovat taky. Tam je nějaká věc. Takže co tady máme za úkoly? Neznámý, jo? Neznámý úder strojů. Koukneme se nejdřív na to, co je tady pod otazníkem. Tohle je děcko. Kouknu tady na tohle. Takže všichni jsou de facto na dovče. Tak si tam kurva mám dostat.
Change your mind about that? To revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too.
OK. Nebude to Gwint nejspíš, ale pojďme to zkusit. A pak je tu slípejte. Výuka pravidla pro začátečníky Meru.
All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines.
Okay.
It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them.
Okay.
You see that number on the top right corner?
Yeah, bot.
That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine.
Zní zajímavě.
Notes also tell you how far a piece can move how powerful their attacks are,
OK.
the distance they can strike from,
Takže na close.
and of course, their health.
Dobře.
Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go.
Samozřejmě, že ne.
Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Move that machine forward. It's all part of the learning process. Gotta move that machine forward. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round, so go ahead and pick a second machine.
Hrací deska. -2 síla, rokle, lesní terén, kopcovitý. OK. Deska s pohromou, ty vole. Samozřejmě to si je. OK.
Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so we're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces
A teď to mě
here.
úplně zničí, ne?
And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now, when performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine's combat power is a combination of the terrain your machine is standing on and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, the difference in combat power between the 2 machines is 2 points. This means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that? Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Not pulling any punch. See how your machine... If you sprint, you'll be able to reach my machine.
Nechci jak jít semka.
Try sprinting up to one of my machines. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack.
Taky tak.
Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. Just overcharge your machine and attack mine. That's about it for your turn then.
No, teďko mi ho vypneš, viď?
Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your... You're still getting the hang of it, I know. Now, overcharge and attack my machine. Ain't that a thrill? Now, Because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or 2.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other rules.
Hurá, to jsou ta
I
slova.
could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Ty vole. Tak ještě si projdeme tady tohle a pak zkusíme nějaký tady tohleto. Takže toho tady bude... Jezus Kristus, tady je i Blake dokonce. Hory, lesy, voda.
I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my... Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together and your machine has 3 points of combat power. My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place... Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it. Which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha! See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still one more thing I want to show you. All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play.
Aha. Dobře. Takže jak to je? Hrací desk. Kopce a hory. Jasný. Dneska s pohromou -2. Takže boj zblízka všechny. Jasně, to je range. Je takhle. Letec a táhnout. Je takhle. Takže červená je weak spot, modrá strong point, promí obrany. OK. Tak zkusíme.
Don't be a stranger.
To the flame!
Oh, you want to play, Ray?
Já chci to zkusit, ale nepouštělo mě to. No, tak, teda pro začátečníky ano.
Here for more tips?
Yep.
Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram-type machine. Attack an enemy with it, and it'll push the piece backwards.
Ow.
Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash-type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all.
Jako někdo to vymyslel hodně zajímavě.
Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know.
Ty pišťalo. Tak to začíná být zajímavý. Poznámky ke stroji. Běžec, tahoun, letec. Dovednosti. Posílit, dostal spojenci bav. Nepřátelské. Trénink pro začátečníky.
Good luck. Time to make my move. You're up, Red.
Počkej. Jo, takhle. Výborně.
You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. My turn. Board's all yours.
Počkej. Okay.
Thank the forge you hit armor. Oh, I thought I had that one.
Tohle je jasně, když mě necháváš vyhrát. OK, zkusíme střední.
Let's play.
OK, 4. Vyberám, takže ramen spíc necháme semka.
That's it for me. I'm up. Your turn.
Můžu sprintovat.
Okay, let's see.
Ow.
Well, that's done now. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Oh,
To jsem nechtěl.
bold choice.
Aha. Takže koska leží, hra běží, no?
Time to get serious.
Ty vole, mě masakruje.
knocked right off the board. One less piece on the board. Okay, let's see.
Tohle asi nevyhraju. Počkej,
Looks like you're down to one piece.
Útočí dvakrát.
Not looking good for you, Red.
No, to fakt nevypadá.
Time to make my move. Your move, Red.
Oh,
Ah, off the board it goes.
OK. Jsem fakt nechtěl. Takhle se dáme.
My turn.
Prohrál jsem, no.
Guess luck's not on your side today, Red.
Ty vole. Tohle je
Let's
těžký.
do this.
Ty vole, tohle fakt není jednoduchý.
I'm up.
OK.
You're up, Red. Time to get serious.
Au.
Your turn. That was brutal.
Ale na high ground. O prdele.
My turn. Knocked right off the board. That was brutal. Feeling daring, are we?
Ale já už jsem
Time to
přebytím.
get serious.
Ty vole, co?
Board's all yours. Now that was a smart move.
Až na to, že jsem... Oh.
A single machine left? That ain't good.
Tak to vytneštěte tohle.
One less piece on the board.
To dostanu po prdeli. Ty vole.
That's the game. You up for a
What the
rematch?
fuck? Jak je rozbitá mápa? Hej, já nechápu, kolik to má
This
útoků.
is gonna be fun.
Já nechápu, jak má tolik útoků. Co jsem si to dal? Braně ramen, to je se do řady.
I'm up. That's it for me.
A já jsem nechtěl tuhle figurku do prdele. Ach jo.
Time to make my move. Your move, Red. Well, that's done now.
OK.
Okay, let's see.
Jsem posral.
Off the board it goes. That was brutal.
Nice.
Got a tough fight ahead of me. Time to get serious.
Ty vole, ty mi zautočíš na oba, jo?
Your move, Red. What a hit! You got me.
Sice jsem si
Fair and
vyhodil
square.
vlastní, ale... Trénink začátečníka těžká. Ale...
Here we go.
Ale vypadá už povědomí. Dnes. Úder. Dobra. A jen zholen semka. Tady dáme semka. Jen zholen.
Okay, let's see. Board's all yours.
Do prdele. Dal misklik.
Time to make my move.
Da fuk.
You're up, Red.
A to jsem nechtěl. Tak
Well, that's done now.
Takhle.
I'm up.
What the fuck? Jak tady skáčeš jako lištička?
Off the board it goes. Knocked right off the board.
Dop! Ach jo, dopí. Já se furt překlikávám mezerníka totiž. No a ještě mu dám tady suka výhodu.
One less piece on the board. Well, that's done now. Time to get serious.
Aha. Ne, to jsem nechtěl. No, prosím takhle, no.
Oh, seriously?
Ty vole, to jsem mu tam úplně nabil.
Knocked right off the board. Your turn. Guess I shouldn't have left that weak spot open, huh? Now that was a game, even if I lost.
No, výhra. Jako, absolutně netuším, jak vyhrávám. Běžná výzva. Škoda, jak je odebrat. Jo. Takže Barover nemá dovednost. Travnatý terén je +1 a tady máme hodně travnatýho, takže si dáme tyhle ty dva. Horský terén, to je až moc kopcovitý. Tady dáme kopce 2, dáme takhle, jo, jenom. OK. A
Here we go.
OK. Grazer z travnatýho terénu. Lanzon, kopcovitý terén, tak to si dáme hned klasíku. Druhýho taky. A já si nechám už jenom tady tak.
That's it for me. My turn. Your turn.
Oh.
Come up.
Do piči, ne, protože to je zautočná.
Off the board it goes.
Ty vole, tak tohle
One
byla
less piece
chyba.
on the board. That was brutal.
Oh fuck.
That was brutal.
Nesmím dělat řady, ne? Oh.
You're up, Red.
Aha.
Hey, I like that piece where it was. I always get nervous when I overcharge my pieces. Okay, let's see.
Teď ty vole, to jsou.
One less piece on the board. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot.
Okay, nice.
Well, that's done now.
Jako absolutně netuším, jak to tady dělám.
Your move, Red. Well, spark my forge. You have beaten me on every one of my boards.
Dobrý, já trvám vám to jenom celou epizodu. Figurka.
Come back anytime, Red.
Ale pak se špětě, prosím tě.
Come for that beer after all, eh? Here, sit down. Get a pint in her hand. Wasn't expecting you to swing by.
Since when do I do what's expected?
Ha! There's that spark. Fire and spit.
Fire and spit.
That's a blast from the bellows. Won't fix the forge, but at least I can forget about my troubles for a while.
Like what?
Take your pick. We got bodies to bury from the bristlebacks, the work stoppage, Olvin grating the gears about his concession decree. Hey! Weapons off the table! Don't listen to me. Nothing a cold brew and knocking some heads together can't fix eventually.
So the bristlebacks in the Daunt. Where did they come from?
That's the thing. No one rightly knows. They just showed up one day, rampaging around the valley like they exploded out of a forge. Lost some good people. But I heard talk of some vanguards trying to take them down.
Jo,
Did they come
takže to
through
bude dopadne.
Stopped by briefly for supplies. Ulvund was none too pleased. Won't be able to crank it to his advantage once the bristlebacks are gone.
But how could bristlebacks in the Daunt help Ulvund?
2 words. Concession decree. Since no one knows where the bristlebacks came from, Ulvund has taken to blaming the Karja for him. He's hoping to dig up enough old resentments to get a strike going until the concession's signed. This is just his latest attempt. He's been trying to rile up the workers since the day he rolled into town.
And people actually believe him?
Lots of folks suffered at the hands of the Mad King during the Red Raids. Give him half a reason, they'll blame the Karja for anything.
Damn Karja slavers.
I thought you'd be back in Freeheap.
Well, after the big battle at Meridian, I went back. But realized it was running smooth. Didn't need me. Heard about the rebuilding out at Barren Light. Figured they could use another hammer. Been scraping by ever since.
You could always leave.
And go back east? Nah. I ain't one to leave a lit forge. Besides, someone's gotta be a squeaky wheel for the workers around here.
So about Ulvund.
Around here, everything's about Ulvund.
How'd he end up in charge?
He got here early, like a squirrel smelling a fat nut. He knew rebuilding Barren Light would need stone and timber. So he jangled purses all over Mainspring, getting investors to front claims on anything in the Daunt that might be worth a damn. Thing is, all the bankers back home know that this is Karja land, and the Sun King can revoke those claims at any time. That's why he's desperate for the magistrate to sign off on a concession decree.
This concession decree, what is it exactly? And how would it help Ulvund?
It's pig diddle, that's what.
A writ that would put all Osram claims in the Daunt under Osram law, even though they're on Karja land. It would mean that any existing ore, stone, and timber claims couldn't be revoked by the Karja. No more risk, no more hesitation for investors back in the claim to pour in the shards and expand their business. And since Ulvund has a stake in all those claims, it would make him richer than a scrapper in a junk heap. Not to mention Chainscrape would become an Osram municipality, so he could buy enough votes to call himself an elderman. He's a sly old badger, I'll give him that. Figures if he keeps up the pressure, eventually the magistrate will sign.
Well, I have to be going. Thanks for the drink, Petra. I'm glad I stopped by.
Anytime, Flamehair.
Jakože bychom jim mohli nějak pomoct, pojďte.
Come for another.
I gotta...
That...
OK, takže s Peťou jsme se tady moc nepokecali. Neznáme cvičiště, to můžeme zkusit. Já mám nějaký vedlejšak dokonce, ale do toho se nechci pouštět, dokud tady trošku máme víc. Nevěděl jsem tady někde oněšet. Tyhle další vedlejšák, no to chvíli trvá.
Oh, drop the act. We all know it was the Karja who let the bristlebacks into the valley, sent them straight through the gates
Same
of Barren
time, same
Light.
place.
That is preposterous. Why would we let
I know
dangerous
everyone here,
into
so
our
you
own
must be.
Land. You mean the land that honest Osram laborers work tirelessly with no
Oi.
say in its
Hey, I
governance?
thought you'd left
The
by
land,
now.
should you sign the decree,
Oh, you
There you
damned
are.
concession decree.
would be managed by the people who actually live and work on it.
Jo, ty jsi to určitě napracoval spoustu tady. Tak ukáž, cvičiště.
You wanted to speak to me?
Well, you know better than anyone it's a dangerous world out there, and not just against machines. Name's Úder. This here's my training pit. best place to practice close combat this side of the Forbidden West. Say, I wonder who'd win in a fight. You, the savior of Meridian, champion of the East, or the Enduring, master of the West.
Who?
The Enduring, a legendary Tenakth fighter, the master of masters. I've heard the Tenakth have training pits just like this one.
Aha, takže to je místo.
It's how the warriors get so fierce, see? And only the very best from the pits get to train with the Enduring.
So, to find the Enduring, I should look for these training pits if I'm ever out that way?
You'll have to go far if you do. The Tenakth are split into 3 clans. 3 clans, 3 capitals, 3 training pits. My guess is you'd have to beat all of them if you want to train with the Enduring. If the Tenakth don't kill you on sight, that is. But that's a far spark in the wind. As for right now, I also offer challenges to test your fighting skill.
Who would I be fighting exactly? You?
Well, I know you're the savior and all, but you have to beat all the others first to challenge me. Rules are rules. We only use dual blades and practice arrows, mind. These drunken fools would run themselves through otherwise. You'll have to leave everything but your spear and practice arrows at the gate. But I'll look after your gear, not to worry. So, what do you say?
OK, tak to dáme.
For some training?
Jsme neudělali nic, jenom se učili novou hru.
That's what I like to hear.
Jasně, cvičiště. Výuka. Lehké útoky, těžké útoky. A zbytek nemáme. Lehké, těžké, silné útoky. Jasný, jasný. Výzva. Aha. Ale nejdřív musím tohleto. Dobře, nejdřív se naučím bojovat.
Attacks are fast, but easily blocked. So learn to combine them with other attacks.
Takže se bude dát i tady. OK. Tak jdeme na to.
Heavy attacks break weapon blocks and do more damage. But they're slow, so your opponents might counterattack.
To jsem dal. Pokračujeme. A jdeme na další.
Our attacks smash weapon blocks to really hammer an enemy with damage. But they're slow and leave you vulnerable, so pick your moment.
Dobrý, nic, co bychom neznali. Jo, takhle.
How goes it, Hammerhead.
Gotta keep going, sorry.
The savior of Meridian wins!
No, ale nebylo to strana. No dobrý, ale tak ve stromu dovedností, výbuch rezonátoru. OK, takže já si myslím to.
Welcome back.
Prostě nemám víc. Se na to koukneme, nemáme prostě, no, potřebujeme výbuch rezonátoru, prolomení bloku. OK. No tak tohle bude konec dnešní epizody, dámy a pánové. Děkuji vám za sledování. A příště se pustíme tady do vedlejších úkolů. Vynutý drát, OK, to bychom potřebovali. A prostě budeme dělat tady vedlejšáky. Takže děkuji za sledování, nezapomeňte hodit palec nahoru, komentář odběr, pokud se vám video líbilo, a další videa z Vodka, Horizonu, Assassina či nějaké jiné hry se doufám, že zase uvidíme. A v popisku máte Facebook, Discord, Twitch. Nezapomeňte, ta vaše podpora je zdarma a pomáháme v Rusu. Takže zase nikdy. Aloha!